Hey y'all, welcome back to our nerdy book life. I'm Christy, and today we're going to do a haul video. Let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to go through, it's a pretty big haul. If you're on my Bookstagram, you might have seen these already. So let's just go through those first. They're mostly manga. Okay. So, the first two I have are volume 1 of The Red, The Light, and the Akagashi. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I have volume 1 and volume 2. So, from what I know of this, it's about a spirit, I guess, that's like half boy, half human, I think. Don't quote me on that. But he lives like in this temple, and he lives there all his life. Sorry, that was my cat. And one day he wants to go down into the village and discover what's going on down there, and he's told about if he goes down there, he has to find one of the humans and eat them. I really don't know much about this one. I only have the first 2 volumes. I haven't read it yet, but I'm definitely going to get into it soon. I have heard Maeve from Maeve Ever Reading, Shae from Shae Geeks Out talk about these two. I know they're going out of print, so I need to pick up the rest of them soon, but I'm so excited to dive into them. And if you want to go follow Maeve and Shae, you should, because they're really cool channels, and I'll link them down in the description box below. So next is Hoki Omnibus 1. I don't really know much about this one other than the fact that it has to do with magic. I'll go ahead and read the back of it. But at what cost? Tanuki is Yuko's unwilling assistant, but even he is compelled by the fascinating adventures he's had since he started working for the Space-Time Witch. Yuko operates a shop that grants people what they need, but there is always a price to be paid. And this one has volumes 1, 2, and 3 in it. And I actually got this one off of Right Stuff. It's a Clamp publishing, so I'm excited to dive into this one as well. It's also Kodansha. Alright, then the next one I have is Wonderland Volume 2. This is one that I have not heard a lot about. I have heard from one person that they read the first one, but it's basically kind of Alice in Wonderland-y, but not really, because basically one day this kid wakes up and it's a girl. One day this girl wakes up and she is really, really small. And she gets out of her bed and she goes down and she starts seeing blood everywhere. And she is like freaking out because she's afraid something happened to her parents. And when she goes out into the kitchen, she sees her parents, and her parents are just as small as she is. And her parents are yelling at her to go back in her room. They're like, go back in your room right now. And she's like, what's going on? And then she sees the cat. And the cat is chasing after the parents like little tiny mice. And it's really crazy. It's almost like all the animals have gone back to their natural instinct. And they basically have to find out what's going on, because then there's problems going on in another district. And it's just a wild ride. Like, when I read the first one, I was like, I need to have the second one. And I got this one from Right Stuff because it seems to be the only place that I could find it. So I'm excited to dive into this one. I have so much manga backlog that I have to do, so I'll have to catch up on that. But I'm excited to read this one. So please pick it up so I can talk to somebody else about it. Alright, and then the next one is Love Me, Love Me Not Volume 2, and there's still a receipt in there. I read the first one and I thought it was absolutely adorable, Love Me, Love Me Not is basically about 4 friends who kind of have like a love friendship thing going on. And I read the first one, but honestly, it's been so long since I read them, and I read it in a manga challenge of like reading 30 manga. So I don't want to get too into depth about it and tell y'all wrong. So just look it up. It's really sweet. But yeah. And then I got Perfect World Volume 2. This manga was so sweet and so real. It's about this relationship between this girl and this boy who's in a wheelchair. They actually knew each other back in, like, I think it was high school, and he was actually a basketball star, and he got into an accident and came into this wheelchair. Well, she didn't realize that, because they had kind of gone their separate ways after high school, and she didn't realize that he had been in this accident. But she knew back in high school she had had a huge crush on him. Well, when they met up at this work party, she saw him, and all the feelings came flooding back. When they get together in their current time, he kind of pushes her away and is like, look, there's a lot going on with the shape I'm in now, and you don't want to be with me, but she really wants to be with him. And it's just so genuine and so sweet, and really opens your eyes to the disability of being in a wheelchair. Alright, and the next one I have, everybody has been talking about. It is A Sign of Affection Volume 2. I absolutely loved Volume 1. It has a deaf character, and it is so sweet. And basically this girl, she's on a train, and someone's trying to ask her directions, but she's deaf, so she doesn't understand. And this guy interferes and explains, kind of helps out with it. And they actually go to the same college, and he is fluent in several different languages, and he wants to get to know her and her language. And it's just really sweet, and I absolutely love that it's deaf representation in a book. I know also A Silent Voice is deaf representation, but I don't know, this was really sweet, and I really like the fact that this was a college bound one too. Okay, the next one I picked up was Devil's Line. Now, this is about a vampire book, and I am super excited to read this one. Sorry, I haven't really been showing y'all pictures, but I have a lot to haul. And it's basically about a college student who is a vampire, and that's pretty much all I know about it. I'm excited to get into this. There is a girl I follow on Instagram, i.am.megs. She loves this, and she's the reason why I picked it up, so you should go follow her. Okay, the next one I have is Yakuza Lover, and this one is a spicy, steamy manga. So basically it's about this girl who she's at a party, and she gets attacked, and this guy comes and saves her, and he is like part of the mafia, I want to say, because I think that's what Yakuza means. I'm sorry, I'm terrible at descriptions. I promise I will get better. I haven't read this one yet, but I'm super duper excited to get into it, especially because it's steamy. It did come wrapped, and it is rated M or mature. So, and then the next one I got is Blue Period Volume 1. I am super duper excited to read this one because it's about art, and art is another one of my passions as well. So I am excited to get into this one, and I think it's also basically about finding yourself and finding your passion, so that's even cooler too. My stack's getting high. Let's switch gears and go to books. So this one you may have seen on my Instagram if you follow me there, but I picked up Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow. Now, this book I have been wanting to pick up for a very long time, and it was only $5 for a limited time, so I was like, heck yes, I'm gonna pick this one up. Only being $5. This is basically has been explained to me as Harry Potter meets, like, oh gosh, I can't remember. Harry Potter meets like Umbrella Academy? I'm not really sure, but it sounds exciting. It is a middle grade novel, so we will see when we dive into it. And the next one I picked up, it was with a buy one get one 50% off, A Curse So Dark and Lonely. So this is basically, I think, a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I'm excited because I do love Beauty and the Beast, but I am super excited to dive into this one. Alright, the next one is Occulta. I think that's how you pronounce that. It is the sequel to Nocturnia. It's all the way down there. I'm not going to grab it. But I really liked, surprisingly, I really liked Nocturnia. So I wanted to see what happened in the sequel. So basically this is about a prince whose brother died, but he believes that he did not actually die because they claimed that he was murdered. And it also has to deal with a thief who comes into his castle and tries to steal something from him, and he gets caught by the prince, and the prince is like, okay, fine, I'll make you a deal. I won't tell on you if you help me find the murderer of my brother. And they just get into a whole bunch of shenanigans, and they actually bond into a friendship and possibly more. Okay, next up, I have The House on the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. This has been a popular one that has been going around. And it's basically about this school for magical youth. And Linus Baker is a caseworker, and he goes there to see what this school is all about. And I had to pick up this one because it reminded me of this series, of Every Heart a Doorway series. So I was like, I must see this because it reminds me a lot of this. So I must pick up this and see what it's about. Alright, and that also brings me to, the next 3 books in the Wayward Children series that I actually got from my wonderful boyfriend. He bought me the next 3 that I was missing. I believe it goes In an Absent Dream, Come Tumbling Down, and Across the Green Grass Fields. So I'm super duper excited to read these. Oh, I'm so sorry. If you haven't picked up this series, you definitely should, because I need more people reading this series so I can talk to them about it. These are really short reads. They're not even, I think, they're not even 200 pages. They're so easy to read. They captivate you. Like, this series just literally sucked me into a whole new world. And when I finally finished the book, I was like, I want more. I need more. But the only bad thing is that they're only available on Amazon. I think you can also get them on Barnes & Noble. There may be other websites. I've just only seen them on Amazon. So I'm super stoked to read the next 3. I guess I haven't read them yet because I'm savoring them, because I think she actually has a new one coming out. So I'm afraid to read them too fast and then have to sit there and wait for the other one. Alright. And then the next book I got is part of that buy one get one 50% off at Barnes & Noble. It's Suicide Notes by Michael Thomas Ford. I don't know anything about this one. I read the description and it just kind of made me want to pick it up. And I know that sounds crazy, but I really like mental health books, and I guess it's because I've always suffered with anxiety and depression. So seeing that someone else kind of goes through something that I do really, you know, kind of helps. Basically, it says 15-year-old Jeff wakes up on New Year's Day and finds himself in the hospital. Make that the psychiatric ward. Clearly, there's been a huge mistake. Aside from the bandages on his wrist, there's no reason why Jeff should be here. He's perfectly fine. He doesn't need to spend an hour every day talking to a therapist or acting out skits about feelings with other teens on the ward. But a funny thing happens as Jeff's 45-day sentence drags on. He realizes he's not as different from his fellow patients as he'd first thought. Compelling, witty, and refreshingly real, Suicide Notes is a darkly comic novel that examines that fuzzy line between normal and the rest of us. So it just sounded interesting, so I thought I would go ahead and pick it up. Alright, and then I have Fat Chance Charlie Vega. Now I'm super duper excited by Crystal Maldonado. Sorry, I realize I haven't been telling y'all the authors, and I do apologize for that. But I heard about this book, and I was just like, yes, I want to read this book so bad. Because it basically talks about a big girl. I'm a big girl, so I kind of understand. They seem to have a problem. People seem to have a problem with her weight, especially her mom. And she's basically... It's basically just about a journey with her, you know, and her weight and everything. It's coming of age as a fat brown girl in a white Connecticut suburb is hard. Harder when your whole life is on fire, though. So I'm so super excited, and I think a video is going to be coming with this book and possibly 2 other books. So stay tuned for that. Alright, and I also picked up Follow Me Darkly by Helen Hart. Now, Shae from Shae Geeks Out talks about this author. And I think this is a little bit of like steamy stuff and possibly like 50 Shades of Grey type stuff. So I know it's not going to be for everybody, but I wanted to take a chance and try it out just to see what it was like. So yeah. Maybe I'll do a review on my thoughts about this series. Okay, now, last, but certainly not least, is my books that I got from a Books A Million shopping trip. And I actually did a vlog on that, and that will be posting after this video. So let me show the goodies I got from there. Alright, the first one I got was I'll Be the One by Lila Lee. So, I was told by the same person about the Charlie Vega book, about this book, that it also has big girl rep in it. And she's basically a big Korean girl who wants to make it in the K-pop world. And K-pop, if you look, there's not big girls in K-pop groups most of the time. So this is going to be super fun. I want to see where this is. I think I am going to do a video about this book and this book together, as well as one other book that has fat girl rep in it. So, like I said, stay tuned for that. And look at these 2 together. Wow. I like the colors. Okay, and then I'm going to show you guys the manga I picked up. Some of the manga that I show in my vlog, I didn't get because I had to make a decision about getting them because I was buying way too much. But I did pick up Cutie and the Beast Volume 3. Y'all, I have been waiting for this one to come out because I absolutely love this book. This manga. Kuga is the sweetest little being, and I just love him. Like, he's so cute. And it's just, the story is just so precious. If you haven't read the first 2 volumes, basically it's about a Kuga who is a pro wrestler, and Momoka, who is a high school girl, but she's actually 18 and in high school, and she absolutely loves Kuga as a wrestler. And basically she goes to one of his matches, and wait, let me back up. She actually tweets him and they talk on there a little bit, and she goes to one of his matches and tells him that she's the one that's been tweeting him, and he just like falls head over heels for her, and she's in like, they just connect so well. And I mean, he says this one line that just starts a whole thing with her parents, but it's just like, I don't know, it's so cute. Read it. Please read it. The next one I picked up is Daytime Shooting Star Volume 12. This is the last volume, the final volume. I didn't realize that when I picked this up. I thought there was one more, but it clearly says final volume on there. So I'm so super excited. If you have not read this series, pick it up. It's so wonderful. It's about Suzume, who comes from a countryside of Japan. She moves to, I think she moves to Tokyo, yeah, to live with her uncle because her parents have to fly in to, I think they have to go live in the US for a while for a job or something, but she wants to stay and finish high school. And she basically gets into high school, and one day she's in the park and something happens and she passes out, and a man comes and picks her up and brings her back to her uncle's house, and it turns out it's one of her uncle's good friends. And she like kind of starts to fall for him, but they do have an age gap, and she goes to school and it turns out it's her teacher. So there's like an age gap between them. And then she also kind of has another love interest as well. So I'm only on volume 7 or 8. So I haven't quite finished it yet, but I'm super excited to find out what happens. Then the next one I picked up is, excuse me if I pronounce this wrong, Duru Hidoru. Now, my friend Maeve from Maeve Ever Reading, she has read this one, and it sounded so intriguing that I just had to pick it up. This one is interesting because it's got little flaps. Not many manga comes with many flaps. I know actual Japanese manga has it. But, basically it's about this dude who wakes up and he's cursed with this, alligator head. I think that's what it is. I was going to show you a picture if I can find it easily. Oh, there it is. Hang on. Please hold. Well, that's not a very good one, but he has this alligator head, and he has to go around and try and find out who cursed him. But the way he has to do that is he has to eat their head. So, I don't know. It just sounded really intriguing, and I'm so excited to start this. The next volume is To Your Eternity, Volume 1. I have seen this going around for a while in the manga community, and I'm super excited. It's actually by the same mangaka who does A Silent Voice. So I'm super excited to get this one. The blurb on the back says, an orb was cast into the earth. After metamorphosing into a wolf, it joins a boy on his bleak journey to find his tribe. It learns and evolves, transcending death, even when those around it cannot. So it sounds super good. It's so pretty. So I'm super excited to start this. We have Sweat and Soap Volume 6. This freaking manga is so adorable. The first one I read, I immediately fell in love. These two are just precious. So basically, it's about this girl who has a body odor problem, and and she works at the company that this guy heads, and she is standing there one day looking at their products, because it's actually like body products, like perfume, soaps, and such like that. And he comes by and he smells her, and he's like, oh my gosh, you smell wonderful. Can I come and smell you every day? And I guess it's for inspiration for him, but they just developed this really cute relationship. And if y'all haven't picked this up, please do, because you won't regret it, I promise. That was all that I picked up from Books A Million. And last but certainly not least, I picked up another volume of manga yesterday. I went to go get the 6th volume of The Promised Neverland, and my Barnes & Noble was out. I have been looking for that thing like crazy, but I got The Promised Neverland Volume 7. So I went ahead and got 7 because I was afraid if I got 6 and read 6 and went back for 7, it wouldn't be there. So basically this story is about this group of orphan children who live in this place called the Grace House. And they're there for a long time, and most of the time these kids get shipped out when they're like 12. And they have to take a test in order to see how smart they are. And little to their knowledge, they're actually being shipped out to be eaten, specifically their brains. So they're going to try and figure out a way to escape from this house. It's good. It's really good so far. You should definitely check it out. If you're not, then get out from under that rock you're living in. That is all the books I have to haul for you today. I hope some of you guys pick up some of these. In the comments below if you want to tell me some of the books that you've picked up recently or something you're reading. If you've made it this far in the video, if you would leave me a kitty cat emoji, because my cat likes to disrupt me when I'm recording. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys for my next video. Bye now.